as you know, in business, sometimes you just got to start, and you're going to screw it up, and you're not going to like things, but it's like you got to just start it. So we started it.
And you can't finish unless you start.
Right.
That is the biggest thing that people, it holds them back in life.
Right.
I mean, they're afraid of failing. And what is failure? It's the first attempt in learning. You have to start somewhere.
Yeah. Welcome to this edition of the Whole Truth Podcast. Today, our special guest is Brandy. She is coming from the Richmond Home and Business Show. So they reached out to us about a week and a half ago about seeing if we'd be interested in a sponsor. So we decided, let's get Brandy in here. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and just kind of tell us a little bit of your backstory.
Okay, great. Good morning. My name is Brandy Sifford. I actually am a real estate agent with Remax at the Crossing. My event partner and I, Casey Mogul, is also a real estate agent. And after working with a lot of our clients, we decided that a home and business show was much needed in our area of Richmond. There's a lot of clients that needed good contractors and they needed good recommendations. And honestly didn't know where to start with the even process of buying a home. So we have built this event to cover all the bases that you need first starting out buying a home. If you're looking for remodels, repairs, we've got a list of contractors that's going to be there that's ready to want your business. And that's what it's really about. You know, the people that's going to be at the home and business show want to be in front of the customers. They want your business. They want to see how they can help you. And that's been our mission, is to help local businesses, small businesses that need help in advertising, and just ways to bring it to the community to better the community.
So before we hit record on this, we were kind of talking like how you got into this.
Yeah.
So how you became a realtor and whatnot.
Okay, so I have actually ran events for 15 years throughout Indiana. They're trade events. Same concepts of marketing and advertising and ways of helping their businesses get in front of the community. And being a realtor, getting into sales was a no-brainer. I've been in sales for a long time, so I'm very in tune with people, and that really helps with sales to know what are they needing, what are they not knowing that they need. And so this is why the home show kind of was best of both worlds with my trade event business and then becoming a realtor.
So you said you used to run the gun and knife shows. How many of them a year did you run?
I still work that job.
Okay.
So I help the promoter. We do 50 shows a year all throughout Indiana, from Evansville up north to the Lake County Crown Point show.
Oh, wow.
So it is literally 50 shows a year. We take off for Christmas and Easter, and that's it.
So it's every weekend.
Every weekend.
Holy cow.
Yep. So we're in Bloomington this weekend, Lebanon next, but it's consistent, and that's great. But it's my focus is bringing that atmosphere and the event side of it, and how can I help local. So it's been a lot of fun to see how they're different from the gun shows versus the home show. But all in all, it's for the people.
Right.
It is to help local businesses.
Nice. So what is, how many vendors do you have lined up for the Richmond
We actually just booked 3 more even last night. So we are sitting, if I had to estimate, because I didn't count with those included, we're at least probably mid-30s, pushing 40.
Nice.
Different vendors. So the Coleman Center is like 24,000 square foot, I believe. It's 120 by 120. It's a square.
Yep.
Looking at our layouts, we are filling up, but we have a few vendor spaces still. We've got food trucks that's going to be out there. We've got 5 for sure. We have Fatheads, Always Ice Cream, Outlaws Chicken on a Stick out of Winchester.
Okay.
I hear they have excellent chicken. Can't forget about Charlie's Pork Chops.
Yep.
And then we have, I think it's Phillips Family Farm or Farm Grill.
Okay.
So they're going to be there. And we have another event that's not ours, but they are just with friends that are setting up in the Tom Raper building next to us. They are a huge draw as well. So the food trucks is a benefit to them as well. And that's what we wanted to make, a place where everybody can come in, you can get your stomachs full, you can eat, you can shop, you can meet new people.
Well, and that just kind of brings up something. Before you said your phone was ringing to a competitor, and I genuinely, I actually own part of a feed business with a guy, because me and my wife don't have enough to do with 3 kids and a roofing business, but he made a good point the other day when I was speaking to him. He's just like, why can't more people work together?
Yeah.
It's the better to better everybody's experience. And like one thing that I talk about, like I want the customer experience. Like that's what we really talk a lot about. That's what we really try to focus on. What does the customer experience look like when you deal with whole roofing? Because like, for us, like contractors don't answer their phones. They don't show up to appointments.
Right.
They don't give estimates on a timely manner. And, there's just no communication, and it's like I just don't allow that. Like guys, like we're running this business with excellence. Like if you submit a Google request at 9:30 on a Saturday night, like you're most likely going to get a response. Then like we have a group chat between me, Adam, and Ellie, and the sales manager. Like, okay, where are we at on this? At a minimum, I'll reach out and be like, hey, somebody will get with you tomorrow. A lot of people don't expect a response at 9:30 or 10 o'clock on a Saturday. But I also know the importance that if a tree just fell and hit your house,
yeah, exactly,
you really want me to respond and say, yeah, I'll get out there with a tarp, or I'll be out there first thing in the morning. So that's something that we want to provide, our customers. What are some things that you do as a realtor that you feel sets you apart?
Well, I can kind of piggyback off that being always available, because as a business owner and self-employed, I don't have a 9-to-5 job. Okay. So if you want to succeed in business, you need to be available to your clients and customers almost all the time to provide that excellence. It's hard, but yet that's what we need to do for people to help to earn their business. I have clients that message me at 12, 1 o'clock at night, and if I'm up, I will respond back.
Right.
I don't work Monday through Friday. I work Sunday through Sunday.
Right.
But it sounds like, you guys are the same mindset of we have a job to do and we want to do it to the best of our ability. And in order to do that, we have to be available.
Right.
So you said you had 3 kids, you have a wife, you have a life.
Right.
And it takes a lot of effort to provide excellence, but here you guys you're doing it.
Right. Thank you.
And that's awesome. But that's kind of what sets me apart as a realtor, is that I'm always trying to work in their best interests. I'm not pushy. A lot of people are laughing. A year later, they reach back out. Brandy, you met me. We did, a showing in blah, blah, blah town. Do you remember? And I'm like, absolutely. How's things going? Oh, we're ready to buy. I've shown numerous houses to one client, and they're like, we're so sorry. It's taken so long for us to find a home. I said, our house is our biggest investment, our largest asset, and the most important part. When you get off work, what do you want to do? You want to go home.
Right.
You want to have a place that is safe, comfortable. You want to make sure you made a good decision. So you have a lot of people that's like, are you ready to buy? Are you ready to buy? Are you going to go buy this house? Like, this is perfect, right? And then you see clients go, no, it's really not. My thing is that I'm patient. If it doesn't meet the client's needs, keep looking.
Right.
So I kind of stand out in that aspect of just knowing that I wouldn't want to be pushed. I treat people like I would want to be treated. If a tree falls on my roof, I'm going to want somebody to answer at 10 o'clock at night and come save me.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So it's the same in all businesses. We want to work to help people, and more people need to help people. That was part of our thing with clients, is that contractors weren't responding. They're not getting people to show up. They have an appointment and they're calling me, hey, the guy you recommended didn't show up. And it's hard for us to make those recommendations if we're not recommending good referrals. So that's what the whole home and business show. You get in front of somebody, you get to meet them, you can meet their personality. Are they going to be a good fit? Are they truly caring in your, whatever it's relating to? So I'm glad to see a good roofing company that's truly interested in helping their clients.
So I was speaking to Casey, and she decided to be under, a little ill the last couple of weeks. So
yes, it has went through all of us so terribly.
She punted this podcast over to you, but one conversation.
Trust me, I begged her to come, and she wishes that she could be here.
And one thing that we had a conversation about, though, was like, there seems to be a market shift where people want to be one-on-one again.
Yes.
Where a few years ago, you could get away with, during COVID, whatever your belief is in that, I won't say anything because I may piss somebody off, but there was times that people wouldn't even come outside. I'd talk to them at the front door. I would go do a roof inspection. I would send them an email or a text message with what I seen up there and send an estimate. And there was several jobs I sold without like ever technically like meeting, like shaking their hand.
Exactly.
Like, to me, I'm just old fashioned, like look somebody in the eye and shake their hand. You know, I judge by, you know, if you're a male, like, do you have a firm handshake? You know,
you size people up like that,
yeah,
huh?
yeah.
Okay.
But we're really, and I try to study business trends and that kind of stuff. And a couple podcasts I listen to, one guy owns a lot of stores. And he says that the foot traffic has actually picked back up in the last 12 to 18 months because people do want to, you know, people want to on a Saturday, they want to come to a home show, and get out and, you know, get some freebies and, you know, get some.
It's human nature to want to be with other people. I mean, we're not made to be hermits living in our house. What is that? That's not living to me. Get out there, explore, you know, test boundaries in life. Don't be afraid to fail, you know, start something because you can't finish something unless you start it. So stop being afraid to make these connections with people. And that's what, when you come into the Home and Business Show, you're not just looking for one aspect of your home. I mean, this is going to hopefully broaden people's knowledge of different home aspects. Maybe things that they didn't know that needed fixed. Maybe somewhere that they didn't know where to start. Who do we call? Well, I have this issue. Is this a foundation basement contracting issue, or can we get insulation, you know, to fix our house? What truly can they get out of it? So other than the massive loads of door prizes we plan to give away, we are going to try to make it as fun and exciting as possible.
Nice.
So one thing that I do want to touch base is that we have silent auctions.
Okay.
And that came about because we wanted to work with Habitat for Humanity. Being a real estate agent obviously goes hand in hand. You know, they build homes, I sell homes. It works. But they do a lot for our community, and they're not recognized as much as what people realize. I mean, we need to do better.
Right.
So I started this with getting the promotions for silent auctions, so that way they get 100% of the proceeds for it. So anything that people want to drop off and donate, baskets, anything home related, we're just going to try to make it exciting. So my plan is to start at like 10 o'clock and then end at 11 o'clock and start a new auction.
Okay.
So that way customers don't have to hang out for all day waiting on this auction to end. So you see something on the 12 o'clock auction list, well, go talk to your roofing guys, you know, make conversation, come back and bid on the auction that's coming up. So we'll kind of keep it really intriguing and interesting throughout the day. And they gave us a microphone as well there, so that'll be exciting. We're going to go around, talk to people and stuff like that, and kind of get everybody involved, you know, and be personable.
Right.
It's good to have a personality.
Yeah. No, I mean, that's exciting. Like, just to have that in Richmond, because I'll be honest, like, if you go to Indie Home Show, there's like 74 roofing contractors there.
Yes.
And it's like, we don't even go up there because it's like, it just doesn't make sense for us. So like when I seen it, like I seen the message pop through Facebook, I was like, yeah, we're doing this, you know, we've got a great team behind us that we've got ideas, and, you know, we're going to have some interacting things at our booth.
Awesome.
You know, and some giveaways and that kind of stuff, just because I don't want it just to be like, oh, I just had my roof done last week or last year. You know, like I want to
engage the audience.
Engage, yeah.
Yes.
And have fun, because, you know, like my son, he may show up in a Pink Panther outfit, because we're Owens. We do a lot of Owens Corning roofing shingles.
Okay.
So we'll see. Like I said, we're gonna try to have some fun with it. We're gonna continue to help push it and promote it. With like the silent auctions. Do you have that schedule already kind of laid out of like how many silent auctions throughout the day you're having? I'm
doing 4 starting at 10. So at 11 o'clock, I'll pull the one silent auction sheets, gather up everybody for those auctions, and then the next set will start at 11, and then so on. Last one's ending at 2 o'clock.
Okay.
So something else exciting that we're doing too, and I keep forgetting on this part, is that we have a live remote with G1013.
Okay.
So they're actually kicking off the silent auction. It's going to be there at 10 o'clock with us.
Nice.
So we can kind of touch base with Habitat for Humanity. They can speak on their new project. They've got a big house that they're starting on, looking for donations, needing help and stuff. So that's a lot of where my, what do I want to say? the incentive to help them came from. You know, it's springtime. There's a lot of builders and stuff that's needing to get supplies to Habitat to help with this house. So I'm hoping that as a community, you know, roofing, you might be able to assist with some of their needs and truly help these families that are in need of the help.
So I don't really know. I mean, I know what Habitat for Humanity is. I get the whole concept. Is there like how is that set up? Like district, regions? Is there a local chapter in Richmond? Like how's that?
You know, I don't know if I would call it a local chapter, but I do know that there are different, like this one's called Good News Habitat for Humanity.
Okay.
So I know when I was looking them up, I actually called an Ohio place because I thought it was our local. So there are different, I guess you would call them chapters, but so to speak, different organizations per county, maybe would be a good way of putting it.
Okay, so it's more county focused.
Surrounding areas, yeah.
And the reason I ask is many moons ago, me and my wife, we moved to Tennessee. I worked for Dave Ramsey for about a year, and the church that we were attending, we built the walls in the parking lot, and then they hauled it off. And it was so funny because at that time, my boy was about 18 months. My boy was 20, almost 2. My little girl was 3-4 months old, and they found out the church. I volunteered to help. Well, then they found out that I'd done some sales and some project managing, and they're like, "Hey, we need you to lead." Yeah, I'm like, "Okay." So I get stuck. I get 4
honored to help, right? Honored
with like 4 13 and 14-year-old girls.
Okay.
And I thought, holy shit. And my wife is like, this is just God preparing you for your future. And now since I have 2 girls, you know, and it was so funny because like a guy next to me, like, you know, we're kind of working in our area. There's a guy, he's got like 4 teenage boys. And in the beginning, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, I wish I had them boys over here than these girls. We built 2 walls with the girls. I did.
Yes.
And I think they made 2 or 3 potty breaks, which is, you know how you girls are. They all got to go to the bathroom together.
Absolutely. Tag team.
But we literally built 2 walls before they had to half a wall done.
Awesome.
And it was funny because my wife's like it would just, it came back to me. I'm like, okay, just, you know, enjoy it. And I did, like, you know, but I grew up with brothers also. So I was like, you know, but it was fun. And that house, it was built in Tennessee. The walls were technically, but I can't remember it. I don't even think it was put up in Tennessee. It was put up somewhere else. So, we've never, I guess there's not a big presence in our general area for Habitat, but I guess, you know, you pretty much said it. They just don't get the publicity that they need. So,
you know, you can volunteer and help with the building of your own house and stuff like that. It's mandatory when they're helping to provide that home.
Yep.
But it's nice because my goal too is, you know, if I work 3 jobs and I'm also a mom. So if I get time, my goal is to truly help because I do have more skills than I want to have sometimes when it comes to home remodeling. You know, nobody really wants to do drywall or mudding, but unfortunately I know how. But I've got skills and I would love to be able to go volunteer eventually and help them because I think everybody should know how to do these things.
Right.
Again, you don't know until you start something and you have to learn new skills or what's the point, right?
So how old are your kids?
She's 7.
Okay.
Going on 17, I should say, attitude-wise. But, yep, she's my one and only.
Okay.
And she would have loved to have joined us today, too, because when I told her I was coming down here, she was like, Mom, can I skip school? And I want to go help you. I'll talk about our home show. So she's my little partner in everything that we do.
So will she be at the home show?
Absolutely.
All right.
She'll be up at the front door stamping hands, trying to help everybody.
Perfect. We'll do a Facebook Live with her because I've got, so mine are 6, 8, and 9. 6 and 8-year-old are girls.
Awesome.
And my 6-year-old, she skips school anytime she can to go pick up a cow or just, you know, with the feed business. We went out and did a couple expos. You know, beef expos, beef home shows pretty much. And she skipped and we went to Iowa for 5 days. And
that's awesome.
Yeah. So,
but the kids need that experience. I mean, obviously they need school, they need education, but the schools can't teach them our life skills that, you know, I feel like I'm teaching my daughter. She has been in the business side of things since she could talk. I mean, we were doing the events and stuff throughout Indiana. She was 4 years old, and she's like, "Hi, I'm Haley, and this is my mom. You know, would you like to buy this?"
Right.
And I looked at her with tears in my eyes, and I was like, "I'm so proud. That's my daughter."
Right.
She is 4 years old, and she is already starting to understand business, and she knows she has to work for what she wants. And I think that's a great mindset to bring up the next generation of back to the traditional values.
Right.
If you want it, you have to work for it. It's not going to be given to you.
Well, and one thing that I've noticed in like studying business and stuff, like the Amish do a really good job of having apprenticeships.
They do
And
great.
as a country, 50, 60, 70 years ago, we did. But
We
we
did.
really, it's shove kids in school, mom and dad go to work, and moms that's got to work are great. Moms that get to stay home are great. Like, I feel like we've tried to demonize women and like, you're a horrible mom because you do work 3 jobs. Oh, you're a lazy mom because you stay at home. Like,
I know,
no,
you can't
like,
win, right?
Like genuinely, like we need it all. Like
Yes.
your daughter's that's going to be part of shaping her. Like she's seen her mom bust her butt, and that's awesome. But I mean, I love school. I love education, but we failed our country with the lack of like them understanding. Like when I get a chance to go, we sponsor a lot of 5-6 high schools with the Dave Ramsey financial class because they teach them about budgeting and what insurances they need
awesome.
and investing because
Yes.
that's not being taught.
No.
And I love going to talk to these kids because a lot of times I just tell them, I'm like, I'll give you 3 pointers to be successful in life. Show up to work early.
Yes.
Stay off your darn phone and like look at people. Like, it's amazing when we go into the high school classes and talk to them. Like the kids that just look down
That's exactly.
the whole time. And I mean, like, so what I started doing is when we kick off the class, I make everybody stand up, say their name, what grade they're in, and what their future plans are. And if they're a freshman and they say, I don't know, that's an answer,
It is.
And then it's funny because then I'm like, okay, what questions do you guys have for us? And some teachers do a really good job and they make the kids have 2 or 3 questions. And then there's some classes that it's like pulling teeth to get them to talk. And then I'll just like look over and say, hey, Brandy, do you not have any questions today? Because I know their name because I made them introduce themselves.
Nice.
And I'm pretty good about like making people feel uncomfortable. And like, there's always like 2 girls that chit chat the whole time.
Yes.
But never can ask questions. So, I mean, but there's just a lot of that, like kids have to learn it, and my kids, I mean, now we've built a team where a lot of them are doing the day-to-day stuff. But when we started out of our house and I had a truck and my wife had a Tahoe and I about blew the radiator up. I blew a radiator hose pulling. We had 2 dump trailers go to the dump that morning. One was on my truck. One was her on her Tahoe. After I blew the radiator hose up, I was like, all right, I've got to get you a truck. So my kids can have a conversation. And, I also feel like when kids see us have business conversations or just adult conversations, like not in like a weird, like private adult conversation, but just talking business or buying a gun or purchasing something for them to understand, like it takes money to buy that. And, and I make sure my kids understand, like, Adam working for us helps pay us our bills. So like, I want my kids to come into the office and respect every single person in this building. And I also want them to understand that these people, Adam, Ellie, Jonathan, the sales team, they choose to work for us. And we're thankful for that because, now my kids like teasing them, Adam's great. He volunteers at Mahoney Valley Christian Church Camp out here. And my kids found out about church camp for this summer and they want to go. And Reagan starts asking me all these questions. And Reagan's my 8-year-old. And she would say here, she should probably run the podcast because she could ask you questions all day.
Right. My 7-year-old's the same way. Like very inquisitive.
She wakes up asking my wife questions. And my wife's like, Reagan, leave me alone. Give me half an hour. Let me get some coffee, Oh,
yeah.
But like we came here after school yesterday. They ran up here to ask Adam questions about the church camp. I'm like, guys, I volunteered there. We've done some work there. I was like, but I've never been there during a week. I was like, I can't answer your questions. But, Adam's been with us over 3 years now. So like our kids, like they've watched our kids grow up. Like I was talking to Ellie.
It's a family.
Yeah. I was talking to Ellie. Her little one was practically an infant when she started working for us. And she just got paperwork yesterday for preschool.
Aww.
And she's like, this is kind of hard, Bob. I was like,
that is.
Yeah, I get it, but to me it's why I do what I do, like to be able to provide jobs. Like, Adam gets to use his skill set of being a tech guy in Rushville. Like,
awesome.
There's not a whole lot of jobs in Rushville for a tech videographer guy. Fortunate Adam went and got that skill set, and but you talk about you got to try stuff new. Like Adam, when he started working for me, he did whatever I needed. There was one day he'd focus on Facebook posting, the next day he'd be pulling a dump trailer to a job site, and I was just like, Adam, bear with me. I promise you, I'll eventually get you doing the stuff that you should be doing every day,
Right.
So
well, you kind of have to be diverse. I mean, in this life, because the thing is we have endless knowledge available to us. So why not put it to use? Yep. I mean, you might not know something, but take a little bit of time, study it, and you can maybe find a new hobby or something that you truly are passionate about. And that's been my goal as a mom, is to expose my daughter to different things so she can grow up and go, you know what, I know how to do this, I know how to do that, but I'm not afraid of trying this.
Right.
To build that self-esteem up in her and just let her know the, sky's the limit.
Well, and like they got to try stuff, and they've got to be, like my son's gotten into showing calves, and like he gets up every single morning. And now he makes his sisters get up.
Sure,
and they
that's
go
an early job.
They go out and feed.
Before school?
Every morning. Oh, yeah. I hear them. Like, I'm awake, but I hear them out there getting up, But I tell them, I was like, bud, you don't realize being consistent. I was like, you're going to be so far ahead of people your age. Like, I mean, he already is. I mean, he can run a skid loader. The biggest skid loader you can find, you can put him in there.
That is amazing.
And he's operating it, and I'm on a kick that I have a belief that the problem with our country is the lack of men that's willing to step up and be a dad and lead.
Yes.
And teach. And I'm impatient. Okay. I want it done yesterday.
Yep.
However, I realized I've got to let my kids do stuff. Like we were doing something out in the barn the other day, and I could have done it 4 times faster. And I just had to sit there and encourage them and,
that's hard.
Watch them do that.
And I'm the same way. Like if I want something, I want it now. Like, why isn't this done? But yet that's how they learn.
Right.
And you have to let them make the mistakes. You have to let them fix the mistakes. That is the key. It's not about making them. It's about, okay, so I messed up. How do I fix it? Maybe I didn't feed correctly or I forgot something, go back and do it until it becomes habit, because everything that you do gets easier the more you do it. And that's, what we're trying to teach the kids nowadays is practice. Practice does truly make perfect. And you can't be afraid of, well, what if I do this or what if I do that? It's just try. Just try. So that's kind of what the home show, telling my daughter, I said, we don't have, when our mark left on this world is going to be our name and reputation. So treating everybody to the best of our ability and treating them the way I want to be treated, I've taught my daughter that our reputation means everything. Mm-hmm. My reputation in any business that I work with, anybody I, come into relations with, you just want to have that. So she's like, Mom, why is this home show so important to you? And I said, not only am I helping people, but it's about building that reputation with people to say, you know what, call Brandy, she'll help you. Mm-hmm. And she realized that because she's going to be growing up in the same area and with the same morals, from me. And that's what I'm setting her up to have something in life, hopefully to look up to and to be proud of.
Well, and I mean, we talk a lot about legacy around here. What will your legacy be? And like you said earlier, you got to start before you can finish. God put that crazy idea in for me to own my own business years ago. I had no idea what it would be. I was doing environmental consulting. I had a great boss for the one company that I worked for, and I enjoyed working with him, but I had found Dave Ramsey on the radio, and I heard him say one day, in 10 years, make sure you chose or make sure you're intentional of where you're at. And I looked at my wife, and I was like, I just wake up every day. It worked out. I like to play cowboy farmer, mess with some cows.
Cowboy farmer.
So, my job was set up where a lot of it I could do on my own. Mm-hmm. So, if I wanted to work from 5 to 1 to 2 to 3, I could, and be home by 2, 3 o'clock to go feed cows, whatever. I had that flexibility. But it was I just knew that wasn't really what God's vision or plan was me long term. And so I told my wife, I was like, we're going to finish paying off this debt. I'm going to buy you a bigger house, because we started in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath house in Glenwood. Yeah. So,
good starter story there.
Yeah. Yeah. like my mortgage payment was $232.
What?
And it was
gosh, couldn't we get those times back again?
Yeah,
That'd be
yeah.
great.
Well, I mean, that's what happens when you buy a $20,000 house, though.
Okay.
But, so we bought a house, and I said, I'm going to go find a job that's 100% commission, because I think I can sell.
Yep.
And so I found roofing on Craigslist, and I interviewed with one company. I met with the sales manager. That company had 2 at the time. I met with one of them, and we got talking, and he's like, well, here's the pay structure. I was like, okay. He's like, you get a little bit of training pay that's 100% commission. I was like, that's fine. I said, we've got money saved, and, our house is paid for. And he looked at me. And at the same time, we said Dave Ramsey. Mm-hmm. Well, he was digging out of several $100,000 in debt from a failed business. So, we had that mutual, he knew, I knew what he was going through paying off his debt. He knew mm-hmm. what I'd been through to do it. So, and he pretty much is like, I'll tell you, if you work, it'll work. Yep. And it took off. And then it was then it just, a couple things happened. And I was like, okay, it's time to do this in my hometown, because all the big companies in Indy, I worked for a couple of them, they would always complain about having to come out here and do work. Well, now it's funny, because now they're out here marketing in this area, because they realize the potential. And, and I just laugh, because I'm like, 7-8 years ago, you guys having to come out here.
Yeah.
So.
And labor was so much more expensive, because, you have drive time, you have everything else. So your customers' prices go up because you don't have somebody local. Mm-hmm. But your local guys are willing to help you because they don't have that hour drive just to get to you and this and that. So it's able to save them money to go local.
Yeah. And I mean, it was just, and I want to have a heart and soul. I want a team that cares.
Yeah.
I want a culture here that no matter and I tell the team, as our team gets bigger, it's more important for our team to believe in our culture as mm-hmm. much as it is me, because in the beginning, if it's just me and Emily and 2 other people, it's easier to instill that culture. But it's now that we've got some leadership levels here, and production guys are coming in to work under Jonathan,
absolutely.
Sales guys are coming to work in under Chris, they've got to hold that, that culture. So yeah, I mean, so that's just kind of how all this came into place. And I mean, I went to work for Dave Ramsey mm-hmm. to sell for him. I believe in his system. We lived that away. Our businesses ran on his principles. And we came back. I was like, all right, we're going to go back home, and we're going to start a roofing company.
Awesome.
And I decided to do that in October.
October of what year?
17.
Okay.
So
you've been at this for a while.
So, but what kind of idiot doesn't keep his salary job in Nashville, Tennessee for 6 months and come back in March? But, it worked out, so one question I like to ask, I'm trying to get in the habit of, is what is a failure that, that you learned from, or something that now you just really laugh really hard at? Why did I even think that would work? Or that's funny because I did this, but this didn't necessarily work, but it taught me this.
Ooh. So see, I can't, okay, so that's great putting me on the spot for it, but I can't really say of a certain failure, because I don't look at things as a failure. I'm kind of much of the mindset, though. I started out with a 2-year accounting degree.
Okay.
I didn't know why, but I knew I needed it. I just said, I'm good with numbers. I need an accounting degree. I want to run a business one day. So lo and behold, I didn't know I'd be doing this several times, what I would get into. Was it absolutely necessary? No, it could have been a failure, and a lot of money in student loans that I didn't need at the time. But there's really nothing that I set my mind to that I truly fail on, because mm-hmm. It's always a learning process. With the real estate, I went in and I heard so many horror stories about people fail this. Don't get discouraged. I'm on my 4th or 5th time. I walked in with the mindset and told the woman behind the counter, I said, I'm here to pass my exam today. Failing is not an option. And that's kind of my mindset of it. If I put 100% into anything I do, I don't expect to fail, because we try so hard. And that's what Casey and I, when we started this, we're like, we hope everything's going to go great. You know, this is our mission. This is what we want to do. And we have busted our butts.
Right.
I mean, day and night working through everything, trying to figure out what's the best way to help everybody. And it looks like it's going to be a great success. I mean, failing is not an option.
Well, and, you know, and I've got a business coach, a friend, a mentor, and it's like if you look for how the home stove could fail, like you're going to find it and you're going to do it.
Fix
like,
it.
You know, I had a guy that I had to fire, and he told people that every Monday he showed up to work, he was scared I was going to fire him. Part of that was he was feeling guilty for not doing his job.
Yeah.
However, even my business mentor coach told him, he's like, if you continue showing up every day with that mindset,
Yes.
one Monday morning, he's going to fire you.
Yeah.
It was a Monday morning that I had to fire him. And, you know, and I don't say that in like a flex, but it's like, you know, you've got to teach that mindset. Like, I believe in speaking stuff into existence. Now, you do have to put the damn work into it also. Like, for this home show to be successful, you couldn't just wake up every day like, hey, this home show is going to be successful, then not do anything.
It's going to be so great. We're so excited. We're just going to show up and throw some, you know, people into a room and it's going to be wonderful. No, there's a lot of planning, a lot of stuff going into it. But you have to believe. You have to believe in yourself. And you have to believe that what you're working for means something to somebody. Yep. And the amount of vendors that had such a positive comment on this, it's amazing because Richmond hasn't seen a home show in, I guess, 20 years.
Okay.
That's what I was told. So to hear these guys, you know, Brandy, we needed this. We needed to, you know, have something to pull it together. We're so happy that you're doing it. I mean, that's an instant positivity that make you want to get up in the morning and go, I am doing this for the good reasons. And it's all a mindset. You have to believe. And
one thing that I've learned as a small business owner is like, we've got to be more intentional of encouraging. Like, I've got to be more intentional encouraging you, like, because like in business, it's hard enough.
Yeah, it is. Life is hard.
We get kicked in the gut
exactly
all the time. But it's like, you know, like I try to, like, one thing I really appreciate what my dad did for me, like, I always seen him be super respectful to just even the gas, the lady taking your money for gas in the morning. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying that's a low job. It's just an entry level job, you know, but I've just, and I'm not saying I see my dad respect everybody. Now, he was mean as shit to us kids, but he would be really nice to you. But I mean, but still, like, you know, I try to instill, like, thank you, I appreciate you.
Yes.
Because, like, and it's something I've been trying to, and we try to send thank yous with business after somebody does business with us. But I've been really trying to get the team just to say thank you in general. Like, hey, thank you for calling in today. Yeah. You know, just because, like, when is the last time you did business with somebody that they said, hey, thank you for coming in today? You know, restaurants probably a business that's pretty good at that, but you know,
it's not enough to say it on the bottom of a receipt anymore. We really need to be that person that says, you know what, thanks. Thank you for allowing me on the show. Thanks for, you know, coming, participating. We appreciate everybody who's making life what it is, because if we don't and build each other up, there's 100 million things that's going to knock us down. So we have to build each other up.
Yeah. And I mean, like I said, it's just, I just got some people coming to my mind that are good about, you know, saying thank you.
Everything's negative.
Yes. A friend.
I know those people, and I'm like, how can we turn this into positive? You have bad stuff happening, but you have to realize we all have bad stuff happening in our lives. We don't want it to happen. But, you know, somebody's in a grouchy mood. You go out to a restaurant and your server is griping, complaining about something, okay, which happens far too often. But, or maybe I'm just the person that people want to gripe to. I don't know. I hope not. But it's kind of like, you still want to be nice. You don't know what the other person's going through in life. You don't know what's making them have a bad day. Are they always this way? Hopefully not. I mean, you have some that are really grumpy old people, but I get that. But you want to try to bring something to the table to make somebody's life better. I mean, if we all did that just a little bit every day, I mean, that's what I taught my daughter when she first started preschool and kindergarten. I said, you pick the kid that's causing trouble in class. All right. Maybe they're struggling at home. Maybe there's something going on, you know, in their head. be nice, pay him a compliment. And I tell you what, she was like, Mom, I don't want to work with this one kid. He's always disturbing everything. I said, how about you compliment something about him? Distract him from something that is making him not feel comfortable. And I instilled that into her very young to say, let's just try caring. Why is that so hard? And it's worked wonders. I mean, and I just wish we could all do that for our kids and the future generation coming up.
Well, and I mean, I look back as I got older, and like, I just look back on things, you know, and like, you can see like, there was a couple of kids on our bus that they were bullies.
Yeah.
Well, then I got to know their stepdad in real life when I was an adult, and I'm like, no crap, them poor kids were bullies.
Exactly.
And now them two kids they're good dudes. Like they're contributing to society, and you know, but yeah, it's just, you know, Adam probably knew I was going to say this when you said that people, you know, vent a lot. It's like, how are we attracting our life? Like, how are we creating it? Because, like, you know, and I try not to get spiritual and religious or anything but like, and this kind of this people disagree with this sometimes, but you know, it says that we are, I have no idea how that was silenced, and it's not silenced. But God created us, all right? So if you look at the life that you create your life, like even in not failures, but times that you learn a relationship, a business dealing, like how did you create it? Were you desperate for that job? Were you desperate for that client because you thought you had to sell them a house? And little did you know you're going to show 70 houses and make $1,200 in commission. You know what I mean? Like, I think of the very first job I did. I lowered my price because I had to have this. This guy became the biggest pain in the you-know-what. Like, he was blaming stuff the HVAC guy did on the roof. And I was like, bud, if water is coming in from your HVAC exhaust inside down into your furnace, that has nothing to do with the roof. Right. And he called me back and he's like, I'm sorry, that was my HVAC guy. You know what I mean? Right. But, so that's one thing that I try to focus on is like, you know, how are you and Casey creating a successful home show? Like, you guys are out there pounding the pavement. You were kind enough to give us some of your time this morning. Casey, I couldn't understand hardly, as she was so soft-spoken last week when I spoke to her.
She lost her voice, bless her heart.
She literally talked to me on the phone for like 40 minutes, you know, and I was just like, yeah, we'll do the top tier. We'll help you guys out, you know, and that's why I was like, okay, how can we help them? Like, we've got the podcast. I'm like, let's bring awareness, you know, to that. So. Right.
And Casey, it's hard for me as a female because I've been in such a male industry for so long. Okay. So, when Casey and I started working together, she has a lot of the same mindset that we will work and we don't know when to quit. Mm-hmm. You know, we're always adding stuff to our plate. We're helping our family. We're doing everything that we can to do the best we can. She's a very positive person, and that's what I was like instantly drawn to her. Mm-hmm. And I said, it's nice to see somebody with the same morals as me, as the same motivation, I guess, is huge. And this is only the beginning for us. Nice. This may be the first home and business show that we're bringing to Richmond, but there are other events that we are just so excited. We're like, March 15th ends one, but we are starting March 16th on a whole different new journey. We're not sure what it is yet, but there's more to come. I mean, we work so well together, and she is so determined. I mean, we are both sacrificing family time. We're sacrificing sleep, sanity. I'm living off caffeine. But we are doing this because we know that there's a good purpose for it. And I love working with her. I love the ideas that she has. She's inspiring. She's the designer. It's just been amazing to have her as the greatest friend in my life. Awesome. So she really is going to be a huge part of this, and I can't wait for you guys to meet her.
Awesome. So recap, Richmond Home Show, March 15th. From 9 to 5, correct?
Yep, from 9 to 5. Silent auction start at 10. The G1013 live remote starts at 10. Come in, get food. We'll be serving breakfast up until about 10:30, 11 o'clock inside the building. And then it'll be lunchtime for your chicken on a stick and get ice cream for the kiddos and all the fun stuff.
Nice. Well, I want to say thank you for your time. Thank you for putting us on because we're excited because we want to continue to expand our business in Richmond. So it was a perfect fit for us. So we're looking forward. We got some pretty cool ideas to engage, with the crowd and have a good time. So,
well, thank you for having us, to come to your podcast. Thanks for participating in the home show. Most importantly, thanks for coming to our area, because as a realtor, we know roofs are the number one important thing for a home. So if you don't have a good roof, to call these guys, that they want your business, and I'll be passing it on to all my clients as well.
Perfect. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Super excited.
Have a great day, guys. Thanks for tuning in.